Today, I'm going to talk about that Bible story where a bunch of kids were making fun of a prophet's baldness and God sent two bears to maul them. I think there's more to the story. Hi, I'm Ryan Hayden. I'm the pastor of Bible Baptist Church in Mattoon, Illinois, and I'm on a mission to help you understand the Bible 2 to 3 minutes at a time. I make these videos every weekday morning, so please hit subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a video. Now, there are a few stories in the Bible that do not read well to modern ears. They tend to make God look mean and petty, and they're trotted out by atheist and anti-Christian writers as exhibits about how silly it is to believe in God. 2 Kings 2, 23-24 is definitely one of those stories. It's just 2 verses, so let me read them to you. And he went up from thence unto Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, Go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. And he turned back and looked on them, and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the wood, and tare 42 children of them. Now, when you read this story, especially in the King James, it's not a good look. It looks like 42 small children were making fun of a prophet's bald spot and got killed by bears. Well, that's a great story for scaring kids into respecting their elders. The punishment doesn't really seem to fit the crime. There are a few details that I think you need to know that makes the story make a little bit more sense. First, the phrase little children doesn't necessarily mean little children. The word little can mean lesser or younger. It can refer to both social status and age. And the term children there, it can refer to children, teenagers, young adults, or even servants. That same word is used to describe Joseph in his late 30s and Absalom in his 40s. A second detail is the place. Bethel was the headquarters for Jeroboam's fake temple and the golden calf cult. So Elisha was representing the one true God here at ground zero for rejecting him. I think that the little children here actually refers to a bunch of teenage servants of this false temple, and they formed a crowd and were jeering God's prophets and basically telling him they wanted him to get lost like Elijah got lost. They weren't just being highly disrespectful to God's prophet. They weren't just teasing him about his baldness. They were rejecting God by proxy, and with possibly hundreds of them, it was a potentially dangerous situation for Elisha here. Elisha didn't call for the bears. He just cursed them in God's name, and God sent the bears. The bears came and maimed, probably didn't kill, 42 of the people, which indicates there was probably a lot more of that, dispersing the crowd and letting Elisha escape a potential lynch mob. So if you think that this is God sending bears to kill a bunch of 8-year-olds for making fun of a preacher, I'm sorry. I think it was a little bit more complicated than that. So what's the point? Well, it's certainly appropriate to use this as an example about how we should respect God and his servants. I think the main point of this story is just God showing his approval of Elisha and the religion that Elisha represented. It's the same lesson that we could infer from Daniel in the lion's den or Paul and Silas in the Philippian jail. God protects his servants and shows himself strong on their behalf. I'll be doing more lessons from the life of Elisha. He's a pretty interesting character, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you tomorrow.